In the year 1970, in New York City, 18-year-old Martin lived a happy life with his mother and father. One morning, Martin woke up in his sunlit room, put on his glasses with a frown, and began preparing his bag. He didn't like going to school because he had no friends there, and the other kids constantly teased him. Once ready, Martin quickly grabbed his sandwich from the table, making sure his mother didn't see, and left the house. His father, David, waiting in the car, kept checking his watch. Martin was late, as usual. Soon enough, Martin finally got into the car. David said, "When I was your age, I enjoyed going to school. If you don't want to go, we can set up a job for you."
I don't want anything, Dad. I don't want anything.
Without further discussion, David accelerated, and they headed toward the school. Knowing his son was late, David drove fast, which resulted in an accident. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the car wasn't in good shape. Martin and David got out of the car and approached the red Jeep they had collided with. From the Jeep emerged a mother and an 18-year-old girl named Aria. As David and Aria's mother argued, Martin couldn't take his eyes off Aria. She was a very beautiful girl with red hair and green eyes. David said, "Why didn't you brake when you saw me? We're in a hurry." Aria's mother responded, "Sir, you hit me, and you think you're in the right?" However, Martin wasn't interested in the argument. He was mesmerized by Aria, clearly falling in love. David said, "Come on, Martin. You walk to school from here. I have a lot to do." Then Aria's mother said, "You should go to school, Aria. The car isn't in working condition." Martin walked ahead, and Aria followed behind. They walked to school without speaking to each other. When Martin arrived in front of the school, he saw that Aria was attending the same school. His breath was taken away with excitement.
"Are you in this school too?"
Martin, embarrassed, could not immediately answer.
Yes.
Martin and Aria stood in front of the same classroom. Martin entered the classroom, but Aria continued to wait in the corridor. Martin sat down at his desk, alone. His classmates started teasing him again. Ignoring them, Martin took out his notebook and pen from his bag. Math teacher Mr. Johnson entered the classroom with Aria. Mr. Johnson said, "Good morning, children. Would you like to meet your new classmate, Aria?" Martin was very excited. Mr. Johnson added, "Yes, Aria, you can sit next to Martin." Now Martin wasn't sitting alone. He was sitting next to Aria, the girl they had crashed into just half an hour ago. They began attending the lesson together. Aria listened attentively, but Martin could see nothing but Aria. When the lesson ended, Martin left the school and walked home. After walking for a bit, Aria approached him.
"Hello?
Hello.
My mom said she couldn't pick me up today because she's taking the car to the mechanic.
My dad said the same thing.
Shall we walk together?"
Of course.
Martin and Aria began walking together. They enjoyed their conversation so much that they didn't want to go home. However, when they reached Aria's street, it was time for them to part ways.
"This is my house. Are you going to continue walking?"
We passed my house.
"Why?"
I wanted to walk with you.
Aria was pleased with Martin's response.
Well then, we can keep walking.
Aren't you going home?
If I want to walk with you."
Martin and Aria continued walking toward a beautiful park. They found an empty bench in the park where children were playing and continued their conversation. Martin talked and laughed, and soon Aria was laughing so hard she could hardly speak. They had a wonderful day together. Evening came, and Martin finally got home. His father, David, asked, "Why are you so late?" Martin replied, "I walked a bit, Dad," and quickly went to his room. He lay on his bed, looking at the ceiling lit by moonlight, thinking about Aria as he fell asleep. The next morning, Martin woke up earlier than usual. He quickly grabbed his bag and left his room. He met his father at the door. David said, "I can't believe my eyes. Did you wake up early to go to school?" If I had known our conversation in the car yesterday would be so effective, we would have had it much sooner. Martin, without responding, quickly left the house. Martin wasn't just walking to school. He was running. He was happy and excited. After school, Martin and Aria went to their favorite park again. They chatted, played games, and had an amazing time together. The next day, and the day after that.
Never ever meant to hurt you, but it doesn't make it any less true. Never ever never, but it doesn't make it any less true. You say you notice how my eyes
Aria, I love you.
Martin.
be gone.
Okay, I love you. Martin, I love you.
In a world where he feels so alone.
5 years passed. They had grown up and become 23-year-old young adults. They lived their love to the fullest, having fun and loving each other deeply.
Aria, oh, Aria, you light up my day. In a crowded city, you took my breath away. With every step we take and every word we say, Aria, oh, Aria, you make my heart sway. Crash and a
The years
spark.
passed so quickly that their love never faded with time. 7 more years went by, making them 30 years old. Their love deepened, and a happy home awaited them. Aria brought one more person into their beautiful home. The time had come to tell Martin he was going to be a father. When Martin learned he was going to be a father, he was overwhelmed with joy and embraced Aria, experiencing the highest levels of happiness. Having no idea how 13 years had passed, Martin and Aria were now a mother and a father. Their daughter's name was Maria. Life is like a candle. It lights up everything until it burns out. Completing their 40th year of life illuminated by their love, Martin and Aria still celebrated their anniversary with the same excitement as before. Their daughter Maria turned 10 and had become as beautiful as her mother. The family celebrated with a cake and had a great time. Years continued to pass even faster. The year was 2008. Martin and Aria had lived their lives joyfully. They loved each other as if they would never part. Every word from the doctor was harsh and painful, as if waking them from a dream. The doctor announced that Aria needed dialysis due to kidney failure. The doctor's words made them face the fear of separation for the first time. Martin and Aria embraced at home. Aria was on dialysis. Love and affection are emotions every person should experience. And for Martin and Aria, who tasted this emotion, their fun-filled life ends here, as they thanked God instead of rebelling against what they thought was unfair. Aria passed away 3 years later. The year was 2024. Martin, who lost Aria at just 59, spent the 13 years without her constantly thinking of her. The only eternal thing in the world is love, and love will continue to accompany Martin throughout his life.